Hey everyone, it's Julie. Today we'll be making crab BLT sliders. They're made with two of my favorite ingredients in the whole world, crab and bacon. Best sliders I've ever had. Yes, I'm serious. I was never a fan of BLTs because I felt like it needed one more ingredient. Now with these crab BLTs, my life is complete. So let's get started. So I chopped about a quarter of a red bell pepper into a really fine dice. I don't mind them big, but with guests, you never know. I sauteed them in a little bit of olive oil for about 3 minutes, and then I set them aside. In a bowl, I like to add all of the ingredients except for the crab, which include an egg, mayo, Old Bay seasoning, chili powder, Worcestershire sauce, Dijon mustard. You may use dry mustard instead, half of a lemon. I'm not a fan of celery, so instead I prefer to use green onions or scallions, whatever you call them, those red peppers that we cooked earlier, a little bit of parsley, and then you want to give everything a whisk. If you don't have Old Bay seasoning, you might be tempted to just leave it out, but don't. Old Bay is the most important ingredient for crab cakes in my opinion. I poured in some seasoned breadcrumbs or else the crab cake won't hold together, and I didn't season anything with salt and pepper. With the Old Bay and the seasoned breadcrumbs, there is more than enough flavor. You might say, Julie, I prefer to season it to my liking. That's fine, you can purchase unseasoned breadcrumbs and season them yourself. Just make sure to season them before you add it to the filling that has raw egg. I used 16 ounces of crab, 1 pound, and now crab can be very expensive, but not as expensive as going to a restaurant and ordering crab sliders. I'm guilty of ordering crab sliders at a restaurant, but they're just so worth it once in a while. Plus it gives you ideas to run home and recreate it, which is what I did. Alright, you want to fold in your crab gently, try not to break it up. Make sure to refrigerate your crab meat for about an hour, and then you want to just form mini crab cakes about the size of the bread you're going to be using. This recipe gave me about 10 sliders. You guys seen how easy they are to make, and when I say they're ridiculously delicious, please trust me. So the breadcrumbs we used earlier were regular breadcrumbs. Now for the outside of the crab cake, we're going to coat them in panko unseasoned breadcrumbs. These are going to make them super crispy. I'll admit, I was never a fan of crispy crab cakes. My favorite were always the soft ones they serve at steakhouses on top of a pound of butter on a sizzling plate. But when it comes to a sandwich, the crab cake should be super crispy. I am very picky with my food, but let's continue. In a hot skillet with some vegetable oil, we're going to fry these on medium heat for about 3 minutes on each side. Make sure they're floaters. I hate frying things that stick to the pan, so make sure they're able to slide around easily. Be gentle, and 3 minutes later, flip them over. If that doesn't look good, you are definitely pickier than I am. I served these for a family get-together. One of my family members, who is not a fan of crab, asked me what these were made of. I said fish. She said, best fish sandwich she ever ate. I served these on potato sliders. I brushed on a little bit of butter and grilled them. I didn't feel like this needed any condiments, but you can always add whatever you like. I topped them off with some spring mix, sliced tomatoes. Make sure to fix that. I don't like anything sloppy. And then I added some bacon. I cut one strip of bacon in half, and then I just put it like a little X, if that makes sense. There you go. These are kind of tall, so I just detached the buns and placed it on top. Potato buns and onion buns are definitely my favorite. The crab slider buns at the restaurant were super shiny. Why do you think that is? Maybe 3 tons of butter brushed on. And that's the great thing about recreating meals at home. You can make it much healthier and skimp out on tons of butter. Of course, you can place little toothpicks on top to hold the sliders together, but who are we kidding? These are not lasting for too long. I hope you guys give this recipe a try. Let me know if you do make these. I think you guys will love them. Hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you all so much for watching.